Hello agilists. In this week's edition of Top Tips Tuesday, how to foster your team's microculture. I'm a big believer in enabling teams to have and to celebrate their own sense of identity. One of the most important variables for me that each team has that differentiates them from others is their people. And this is why I've coined the phrase, innovate, don't replicate. Before we start, however, for more videos and content on virtual agility, ring the bell to subscribe to the Virtual Agile Coach channel. Now, when I was release train engineer for a globally distributed release train, I had the pleasure of bringing along a senior stakeholder to one of our PI planning sessions. He was new to the program and he wanted to get a feel for how we as a program operated. And when it came to those breakout sessions during PI planning, he asked me, "So what now, Chris? Are the squads all going to start using post-it notes?" My response was, actually, no. The White Walkers squad, they like post-it notes. The Night's Watch, however, they cluster together around an Excel file and plan their PI digitally. The Starks, well, they use a virtual whiteboarding tool. And the Lannisters, they have access to a Surface Hub, a Microsoft Surface Hub, so they tend to use that. Each of these squads had their own preferred way of delivering the outcomes behind the breakout sessions in PI planning, and as long as they contributed their work onto a central location and made it transparently available to everyone else, I was keen not to standardise their approach. I've also worked with teams who love to do music-themed retrospectives, and that was something that they could all connect over. Another team, however, preferred video games and liked their meetings and content geared towards this shared passion. A further team I worked with enjoyed naming their sprints after movies, and they would share their latest sprints to the rest of the squads accordingly. Each of these examples showed me and emphasised the importance of enabling microcultures. Now, I've personally fallen foul of this in the past, and I would historically seek to standardise things, and the result wasn't nearly as positive. My top tips for fostering microcultures in the workplace. Firstly, encourage teams to create their own team charter. This will align them around their strengths, their development areas, their goals both individually and as a team, and will allow them to establish their ways of working and their values. They can create those together, and they will therefore be more likely to have a sense of ownership for how their team works than if it was forced upon them. Actively encourage your teams to have and celebrate their individualism. This can be done through sharing war stories, learnings and lessons. Each team has its own unique set of people, all of which have different needs, goals and desires, so allow them to innovate, not replicate. Afford the time for microcultures to develop. If it's all meeting every day and there's no time made for personal interactions, odds are what you'll have is a team that doesn't have a strong relationship with one another, or they don't feel as accountable to their colleagues. So one way you can do this is to make time, the first 5 minutes of any meeting being unfiltered, non-work focused chats. This will allow the teams to connect on a personal level. Don't standardise methodology, solutions or approaches with your teams. Instead, define guardrails and outcomes that let the team best decide how they can deliver to those outcomes. As an example, rather than forcing a team to estimate in story points, instead set the guardrail that each team must be aware of and strive to improve their throughput. What tips or techniques do you have for enabling teams to have their own sense of identity? What was the result in doing so? I'm always keen to hear from fellow practitioners what they're doing also. Of course, again, if you found value in this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And as always, folks, don't stop believing.